Tom O'Neill, Art McDonald are the officials, and Kentucky in white control the tip.
And Utah, Sean McDonough, Minuteman. They're going to have to tag Miller. A lot of bumps, a lot of activity. That task now. They may post him up.
Epps with a shot clock down to 10. Out for Mercer on a wing, guarded by Hansen. And Mercer scores 30 seconds into the game.
And they go full court pressure on the ball, going for it early. He can elevate, can he, Sean? Gets up and gets great looks.
Nearly a steal. Utah survives the press this time.
Now, if that was Van Horn, you may have seen the shot.
Caton, good fake, and he went right by Jamal McGlure for the first Utah bucket of the game.
And not much rotation. McGlure didn't take away the baseline, didn't get cooperation from behind.
Caton had the best scoring game of his career in the matchup with Kentucky last year in Minneapolis. He had 22 points, one of the very few bright spots in that game for the Utes.
Here's how they help out on Mercer. You can see the guard will help out on times.
Turner worked hard on his jump shot over the summer. Rick Pitino said he went from a subpar jump shooter to above average, and he showed it there. That's a goaltend. Caton with 4 quick points. McGlure whistled for the violation.
Well, Rick Majerus' word was judicious. We're going to attack and try and use good sense. A little push to blow by, and then the rejection.
Epps guarded by Caton. Hansen has the task of guarding Mercer. He'll try 4 different bodies on Mercer today.
And John, you notice Miller's sort of hedging down, looking to help out and scrape. They're going to give Turner the deep one. Not this guy.
Mercer. They doubled Miller, who fed Doliak. And now Hansen.
Utah doing a nice job using the big people to break the pressure. Doliak, very intelligent approach thus far.
2 teams perfect in shooting to this point. Sharp contrast to start between Utah and Stanford, and that's a 2-pointer for Van Horn. His totals were on the line, but he was just 9 of 26 against Stanford, so that's an encouraging start for Rick Majerus.
The trajectory was what he wanted. He hasn't had lately, but a great screen down to free him, and not good switching by Kentucky.
6-all the score. 2.5 minutes played. The winner joins Minnesota in the Final Four next weekend in Indianapolis. Good hands by Caton. Here's Miller ahead of the field.
That's the kind of start you wanted for Utah. As you recall last year, shell-shocked early. Good control of the tempo right now.
In last year's game, Kentucky hit its first 13 shots. They weren't repeated as Epps missed. 8-6 Utah, 3 minutes play.
And now they can settle, run their passing game. A lot of bumps. Van Horn gets good looks.
Hansen. That's a 3 for Drew Hansen, the junior from Tooele, Utah.
Boy, does that open it up inside for Doliak and on occasion Van Horn.
These teams sizzling out of the locker room. Utah yet to miss. Kentucky 3 of 4. Padgett for McGlure, guarded by Doliak, and a whistle by Ted Valentine. He and Tom O'Neill conferred. Looked like Valentine was going to call it travel, but Tom O'Neill said the bump by Doliak caused the walking, and therefore it's a foul on Doliak, his first.
This is the body up. You got to give a little bit room. McGlure progressed nicely all year. They've got 2 solid centers. Maybe a little inexperience, and Doliak can control. That time just didn't get the legs out of the way.
7 unanswered points scored by Utah. Now Art McDonald blows his whistle for a hold as Kentucky tried to inbound the ball. The foul's on Hansen, his first.
You're going to have to bang him to do a lot of things. You can just see a couple of free shots. Mercer keeps moving. Very tough to defend. Quick feet.
Rick Pitino's worried about fatigue on the part of Mercer. He played 39 minutes in the game against St. Joseph's, and he's doing it with a bad back. Miller fouled on the way to the bucket. On a reach-in by Padgett.
Oh, they're taking advantage. The big guys trying to get back and defend against the little guy. Good read by Miller, almost like the open. They'll push big people. He'll hide behind them. He's got great acceleration and strength getting to the goal.
Andre Miller injured his right hand crashing into the basket support in the win over Stanford Thursday night. Looked like he hurt his wrist, but he said it was more the knuckles on that right hand that were bothering him. He had a variety of treatment over the last couple of days. He showed no signs of it affecting him during the warm-up. We watched him dribble and shoot, and he looked like just another guy out there.
And he said he's fine. A high threshold of pain is what Rick Majerus says he possesses. Something that's escaped you, I might add.
And despite the 19 points, the assist-to-turnover ratio of 11 turnovers and 1 assist the other night against Stanford led Rick Majerus to call it Miller's worst game of his career. Utah on the 9-0 run. Miller off to a much better start tonight with 3 assists and no turnovers.
Up on Mills, obviously great start. Jordy McTavish in the game. Key how he plays with Miller getting the blow.
Jared Prickett's in the game. He was shut off by Doliak. Padgett gave it back to Prickett. Shot clock at 11 as Padgett hoists a 3. Rebound Hansen.
And what a nice check out. They have been solid defensively. Here's the key right here, Sean. How McTavish plays now, subbing for Miller.
McTavish is a freshman. It's an all-freshman bench for Utah. Coach Majerus says he has to have the only all-freshman bench in the country. Doliak. Wayne Turner in traffic with a strong rebound for the Wildcats. Mercer might have gotten away with a travel.
Nice switch there, Doliak, and the slip to the goal by Prickett.
Rick Majerus thought Turner traveled as well. Doliak the rebound. 13-6 Utes. Nearly 5 minutes play.
And they got Van Horn if they want to use him. See if they double.
They did double, and Mercer saw the pass coming to Doliak and picked it off.
Great read.
Mercer shot short. Padgett a tip in.
They are so coordinated defensively. I mean, they read one another. The double went down. Mercer steps into the passing lane.
Payton playing with confidence. No luck on the shot as it went spinning out to Prickett.
Kentucky likes this upbeat tempo, though.
And a little hand check called against Jordy McTavish. Timeout. 14:42 remaining in the first half. A much better start this year for the Utes. Horn and a strip by Turner. He knocked it out of bounds, and that's what Rick Pitino said yesterday about his matchup problem with Van Horn. If they try to guard him with big people, it's a problem outside.
There were 3 people that attacked him on that particular play, Turner being the last. Nice little scrape at the end. Turner looks, Van Horn looks much more comfortable, even though Turner made the nice play. Able to dribble a little, make that open jumper earlier. Double screen for... He should be able to take him with the dribble if he so desires.
Shot clock down to 5. Johnson lost the handle, and it's out of bounds, but a foul call with 1 second on the shot clock, and Rick Pitino is livid.
Yeah, that's one of those deals. Great defense negated by a little small change under the rim. And this is just a broken kind of a play. A little reaction here and there. I don't know, Sean, huh? Nickel dimer.
That wasn't the foul we saw because that was Mills who reached in, and they called it on Padgett. And he has 2. The fresh 35 on the clock. Miller double team. Got out of the double team, but missed the shot from in close. Rebounded by Prickett. 3 to tie for UK.
That's a tough matchup. He's going to dribble into a post with a tough shot. Fade.
And follow the rebound action. Johnson did a great job defending Mercer, but Metal is called for a hold as he was trying to fight off Jared Prickett. Here's what happened last year when they met in Minneapolis in the Sweet 16. Kentucky led by 22 at the half, hit its first 13 shots from the floor, and forced 21 Utah turnovers, and that's the concern again today for Utah. Miller, the only really good ball handler that they have.
And a little roll here by Mercer after that tough loss. Majerus swore off solid food. It didn't work.
Foul on Prickett as he went to strip the ball away from Metala. First foul on Prickett.
Sean, you've done Kentucky games. The different pressure points that they throw, the different looks. This time, they don't play the inbound passer. You've got to be ready at different points on the floor.
Mention how the coaches think both teams are different than last year. Rick Pitino says Utah is a much better defensive team, and the numbers certainly bear that out. Payton Rebound by Nazim Muhammad, who's just in the game. Both coaches agree Kentucky isn't quite as good as it was a year ago. Prickett fouled as he went strong to the bucket. The Cats moved the ball quickly up the floor.
Now, earlier we talked about Utah running the floor. The big guys, well, Prickett and Paget have an affinity to leak out, get themselves in position. And the Kentucky philosophy, complementing great pressure defense with the push up the floor, realized.
2 quick fouls on Mike Doliak. Just more than 7 minutes into the game. The 6'11" center will take a seat. Van Horn's back in. Hansen has returned, and another freshman off the bench, David Jackson, wearing number 3, is in the lineup. Prickett will shoot a pair.
And Sean, they feel Jackson can dribble the ball a little bit, complement, take a little stress off of Miller's game.
One shot.
Prickett, a 63% free throw shooter. In his 5th year at Kentucky, sat out last year as a medical redshirt. He missed both free throws. The Utes still have a 1-point lead.
Good look.
Hansen colliding with Muhammad. Tom O'Neill put his arm in the air to call a foul and committed a balk. He brought it back down very quickly. That's why the Ute fans are booing Mercer. Missed a 3 out of the corner. So after a hot start, Mercer is cooled off.
Really posted up nicely, and he had Turner. Miller's got to read that. He still has him. Box to box, good read.
Miller off the pass from Jackson. First bucket for Metala, the freshman from Helsinki, Finland, playing 7,000 miles away from home.
And he's going to be a talent. You don't get out Prickett. Normally Paget's the guy that makes that one.
Rebound got tipped out to Van Horn. Miller one-on-one with Turner.
Good read here. That's the judicious use of the bats.
More than 8 minutes gone by. Utah leads by 3.
Switching everything on the perimeter. That's why Turner's on Van Horn. He should take him into a post-dribble situation.
As he went to the box, you saw Muhammad slide over, ready to double. And the ball batted out of bounds by Prickett. 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock. When we come back to San Jose, the Utes lead by 3.
Miller spent Christmas with him because he was a little bit homesick and concerned about him. A lot of feeling on this program.
Epps to Prickett. And now Turner inside to Mercer. Great ball movement as usual by Kentucky. And the Cats are back within a point. Mercer has 8.
Over the top. Nice attack here. Now you got to back it off. Don't have the numbers. How about Mercer's ability to elevate and shoot over people?
Jackson, nice pass again to Metala. Offensive foul as he steamrolled Anthony Epps.
See, that's a flop to me. Metala gets caught. Epps with a wise little move. But right here, now you think he's going to pop out to the high side. He just gives a little fake and a juke and a post up and a disadvantage here by Hansen. Now there's the elevation. Under duress, still able to get up a few inches.
2 fouls now on Metala. Man, he replaced Doliak is on the bench with 2. Mercer catch and shoot. Hansen right in his face that time. Prickett got it out to Epps.
Nice stuck in by McClure. Van Horn's got to be alert for it.
Nearly midway through the first half, Utah with a 1-point lead. Epps, the senior, off to Turner. Long with his jumper, rebounded by Miller.
Perfect trap. Mercer let him right to Turner. Just read one another. Such great coordination defensively.
Hansen, almost perfect straight-A student at Utah is Drew Hansen. 3.98 GPA over 4 years, just 1 A- as a political science and economics major.
Now you can relate, certainly, to the minus portion, right? A nice steal again by Epps. They just, defense takes away the penetration. The others churn, get into an area where they can do some damage. And it's not so much the full court press. You think you got that under control. Everybody steps up to cover the kickback. You think it's open. He's saying move to the basketball. Dive to the hole. Epps with an extraordinary read.
2 personals now on Hansen. That puts Utah over the limit. 17 fouls. Kentucky's been called for only 3. Hanson's heading for law school when his time at Utah is done. He's a junior. Played every position for this team this year except center. Wants to be a sports agent. You think a guy that bright would have higher aspirations than to be a sports agent?
You can always represent play-by-play people if you really want to get down there. Epps, a pretty good receiver. You can see by that body he had a football impact. I mentioned the other night, Nolan Richardson loves his contribution to this program, dubbed him the silent assassin.
He was an outstanding receiver in football in high school, led the state of Kentucky as a senior in receiving yardage, better than 1,100. Wanted to play basketball and came to Kentucky as a walk-on, then earned a scholarship.
Andre Miller with a behind the back. You don't do that against Kentucky. Very fortunate to come back up with it.
Kentucky has reclaimed the lead after the run by Utah.
They had Mills on Van Horn, but watch the double quickly. Van Horn tries to post.
Van Horn, a contested three, and he made it with a hand right in his face.
And they're getting the ball up. What a tip from the coaches.
Van Horn 2 out of 2. 5 points. Utes by 2.
They want to be aggressive but not continue to foul. A little problem already. Methel has got to be concerned. Gambling with him with the 2.
Prickett. Now Epps got Miller in the air. Epps thought he was bumped as he came down. Lost the ball to Drew Hansen.
Ooh, he walked there too.
Hansen quickly down low to Miller. He spent a lot of time down there trying to post up Brevin Knight Thursday night. Metola out of control, threw it away.
And what a nice looking move. But there again, Kentucky, you beat one, you got to counter others. A little looseness here. I think Epps may have gotten hit. A little walk to Park City by Van Horn.
4 turnovers now by Utah. Prickett inbounds to Epps. They're on the court with Muhammad, Mills, and Mercer. And for Utah, it's Miller, Caton, Hansen, Metola, and Van Horn.
They're not letting Mills get a good look. Nice hand hedge by Metola.
Prickett back Metola in. Muhammad the putback.
Well, Muhammad sees all, conquers all, huh? Nice little body rub and caused it a turnover as Metola, a little inexperienced inbounding the pass, throws it directly out of bounds.
And Rick Majerus has called a 20-second timeout.
Well, they say Muhammad governs the land. The 3-second area, his domain. Everybody trying to post position. And this is a great rebounding team when you think of it. Padgett, Prickett, Nazim Mohammed, and McGuller.
Muhammad came to Kentucky weighing over 300 pounds. Rick Pitino went to watch him play in high school and said he barely made it over midcourt. By the time he got up to midcourt, the ball was going in the other direction, but he liked his hands. He said there probably isn't another person in America who would have given Muhammad a scholarship. But Pitino knows with his program's history of getting players to get in shape and lose weight that if Muhammad could get in shape, he might be a terrific player. He's dropped about 70 pounds, and he's become a key performer.
Maybe we can get Majerus to enroll at Kentucky.
8 minutes left in the half. Prickett went over the back of Van Horn after his missed shot, and Jarrett's called for the foul, his second. Well, Rick Pitino made one observation yesterday about Rick Majerus. He said, I noticed every time he's interviewed, the subject of food comes up. A charge Majerus would not deny. Back in a moment. Obviously much more confident, Mike, than your teammates and you must have been when you played on that 0-11 football team at Boston College. That's payback from the little shot he took at us on Thursday night, as you know.
Well, they have patience, low-scoring game. Utah's favor now. Run their passing game. Mills down on Van Horn. Looks easy, but look at everybody sniffing down there to help. Opens up the jumper for Metola.
And he missed a jumper from the top of the key. Tie game. Under 7.5 remaining in the first half. Winner of this game goes to the Final Four. That's a long three. He was a big part of the annihilation of Utah by Kentucky last year. Epps came out hitting shots from the outside. Rick Majerus rolled the dice and played off, and it didn't work. body and an uncontested layup, and Cameron Mills hustled back to knock it away.
And what did Rick Pitino say about his speed? It was questionable in high school. Maybe he could shoot it. He wasn't a Kentucky kind of player, but he's a Pitino kind of player. Great effort in the open floor.
Pitino told Mills not to come to Kentucky. Said you'll never play. We can't give you a scholarship. Thought he was too slow. Encouraged him to go elsewhere. He's glad now that Cameron stayed in Lexington and played at UK. The miss by Miller, the rebound by Mohammed. Kentucky with the ball up 3. Mohammed has 4 rebounds off the bench.
A nice little string out here. They blitz the pick and roll. Good recovery by Van Horn.
Payton trying to guard Mercer now, and Mercer buries another from the elbow.
Size-wise, can't handle him. Speed-wise, can't handle him with that matchup.
This is the greatest deficit Utah has faced in the tournament to this point. First time they've been 5 points down. And another turnover.
So the amazing thing here is the dexterity with the bounce. A little ecstasy on this release. He knows how high he has to elevate to get a good look.
Mercer, the leading scorer in the SEC this year. First team All-American. Also the MVP of the SEC tournament. And perhaps playing in his final game at Kentucky. He's playing as if he doesn't want it to be. He just turned and stared at Payton as he scored over him.
Sean, that's just a great play. A screen down. He's so active, but they bump for him. Gets his feet turned, able to knock down shots, but all coordinated with a great rub offensively. Imagine the dilemma of teeing it up against Mercer. I mean, here's the down screen. Look at the turn. Gets squared. Great rotation. Attention to detail.
Mills called for his first foul a moment ago. As Kentucky was applying the pressure. Just 5 team fouls on the Wildcats, so not yet a bonus situation. Kentucky has scored 11 straight points. Trying to end the run. Missed the 3.
Now they laid off him, and as you know, he can make that shot. They're switching everything. It's confusing Utah.
Goliak now 7 of 17 for the season from 3. He can make it. Mills certainly can. 72% in the NCAA tournament from 3. That was a 2-point miss. Last touch by Epps. Utah will play it in with 5.5 left in the half.
And they made him put it on the floor. Very key against Mills.
They're coming to double Miller. Mills and Mercer. Miller's in trouble. And he threw it right to Prickett. Epps for 3. Rebound Van Horn. Might Utah be better served in an instance like that, Bill, where it looked like Miller had a chance to push it up and don't give Kentucky a chance to pressure in the backcourt?
I think they really had their problems now. Quicker offense, making decisions quicker.
That's a 2-point try for Van Horn, and a tough shot as he was backing up, and Muhammad ripped it down.
I think you've got to do it when it shows, Sean, but I don't think you should get wild. The 20 now by Epps.
Tomorrow, CBS Sports Olympic Winterfest goes to Trondheim, Norway for the World Nordic Combined Ski Championships beginning at 12:30 Eastern. Then at 1:30, the top players and coaches of the 96-97 college hoop season will be honored at the Boost Naismith Awards, followed by the Road to the Final Four at 2 Eastern Time, featuring previews of tomorrow's regional finals. That's the start of the day tomorrow here on CBS. And the matchups tomorrow at 2:40 from Syracuse, Louisville against North Carolina. Then in the Southeast, Providence takes on Arizona with a great performance by the Wildcats as they ousted everybody's favorite Kansas.
Great game, too, to watch. Ricky roaming the sidelines. And they complement the pressure D with good, quick-hitting offense. Motion, nobody stands. A threat when you catch the ball. Look at the little curl here, the dive by Prickett.
Turner, Mills, Mercer, Prickett, and Mohammed on the court for UK. Mercer as Payton fell down. Mercer scoring from everywhere on the court.
Oh, you're asking for mercy from Ron Mercer. The deflection by Doliak. Well, player of the year in high school, went to Kentucky because he became comfortable playing behind Antoine Walker, finding his way here, using the bump and then the spread dribble to knock it down.
Mercer goes out with 15 points. He had only one season in that supporting role. This year he was counted on to carry a huge part of the load, particularly after the knee injury to Derek Anderson in January. Sideline Anderson for the rest of the year. Mills called for a nickel dimer, as Bill would say, on the hand check in the backcourt, his second. Mercer very quickly back in. Kentucky leads by 10.
They don't get Van Horn enough touches, Sean. That's part of the dilemma. He can use the dribble now, be more of a threat. He plays so much within the offense. He's unselfish. I think sometimes it hurts Utah.
Caden up to Doliak. Muhammad contested the shot. It's tipped up and in.
I think it may be Doliak, Sean, really followed himself. They got to pound it in and do some damage in there.
They did credit the bucket to Doliak, his first points. He's a junior from Portland, Oregon. Mercer has single-handedly outscored the Utes 9-2 over the last 2:20. The Kentucky lead is 8 points. Nearing 3 minutes left in the half. Muhammad had his shot contested by Van Horn. The shot clock did not reset. There was no iron drawn. Epps kicked it out to Turner with the shot clock running out. Wayne Turner makes a big shot.
We've all talked about that stroke and release. They give him the confidence. He can hurt you at key times, generally in the 3-second lane. Look at all the white shirts. You got to go over the top.
They had a numbers advantage. Van Horn, not a lot of arc on that shot. Drew Hansen came away with it for Utah. Van Horn went by Epps, and that's a held ball. And the arrow gives it to Utah.
Nice job defensively here. He beats one. They've always got somebody else stepping up. Tough to beat the Cats on D.
He's only been able to take 4 shots. He's been doubled a lot of the halves.
I think they've reacted with the switches. Even though a small guy ends up on him, helping out when he's in the low post. Here the advantage. Whoops. But he should let that go back. They just automatically switch now. Turn around him in the box. Look at Muhammad trying to help. Okay, you got to use him.
Shot clock at 3. Hansen had to throw up the prayer. Rebounded by Van Horn. And that wouldn't go. Utah's been a little bit unlucky. A couple of shots rattling in and out.
Really confused, I think, in running their offense with the automatic switches.
2 minutes left in the half. Kentucky by 10.
Nice.
Cricket to Muhammad. And the Cats have their largest lead. 4 points for Muhammad, the sophomore from Chicago. And a timeout called by Utah.
Draw the defense, a little slip pass, the double. You don't get the hands down. And the counter at the other end, Sean, the inability to slip on switches is the problem with Utah's offense. They've got to dump it into the box, let them trap, and make sure they slip to the goal.
Mercer, 7 of 11. The rest of the Kentucky team is 7 for 18 from the floor. While Van Horn has only attempted 5 shots. Good rebounding off the bench for the Cats as well. 5 rebounds from Muhammad, 5 from Prickett.
And they back off as they have now with the good half-court defense. They've been confusing. A little zone look now, 1-3-1. They got to know where Van Horn is.
Starting 5 on the floor intact for Utah. Miller stripped by Turner's quick hands. Turner, the sophomore from Boston, Massachusetts, strong to the bucket. And Prickett there with the follow.
Turner does a great job dragging people, and you don't get in position to put a body on a guy.
And all of a sudden, this game is starting to resemble last year's game. With Kentucky widening its lead. Doliak stops the run, at least for the moment. Michael is 4.
Got to do a better job rebounding, obviously. Don't let the guards turn the corner. And Mercer, who's going to stop him?
He's shooting for a high percentage. Rick Pitino said, as a team, the Wildcats need to shoot for a high percentage because they can't press if they don't score. Shot clock under 10. Epps guarded by Hansen. Epps lost the handle as he went up. The Utes can take the final shot if they so choose. They have numbers in their favor.
Beautiful. The lingerie lingering there. Nice ball fake. They need to stop here if they're going to get under 10.
The 10-point game, 10 seconds left in the half. And the foul is on Miller, his first.
Rick's adjustment, but you can see the push early, getting it inside, something a little subtle influence on the offensive end. The big dilemma, I think, for Rick Pitino is which defense should we run? Should we press or play half court? They've both been sound.
Turner, the interesting free throw motion. But most of all, Coach Pitino tells him to relax and try to shoot it with soft hands.
A chiropractor's nightmare, though, this lurch initially.
He missed both. Mercer fell down to the rebound action as Van Horn rebounded. Now Miller hounded by Mills. Miller strong to the bucket, then lost it. Out of bounds, last touch by Kentucky.
Very strong getting in the middle, and this is one that nobody could get an eye on and pick up as it ends up a little football hike situation.
Goliak blocked by McGlure, but Mills got him from the other side. And that's 3 now on Cameron Mills. That's going to bring Anthony Epps quickly back into the game.
Now, Goliak can do some damage in that low box area. Good offensive moves. They can counter with Medela. Influence subtly the defense interior of Kentucky. Talked to Rick about his basketball ability, checking him on the sideline there. Said that Al McGuire told him he'd probably rather play the mascot, Willie Wampum, at Marquette than put Rick in the ball game. That'll describe my basketball ability.
Goliak was great from the free throw line under pressure against Stanford, was 12 for 12. And he makes his first 2 today. He's now made 21 free throws in a row. And the Utes are chipping away, down by 7.
Goliak with a shot, Sean. You got to help on Mercer, but the forearm, that's number 3. This is taught by coaches, though. The only way to hand hedge, and they're right there. I didn't think it was too bad, but obviously the officials don't agree.
3 personals on Goliak, the second team foul on Utah here in the second half. Just more than 3 minutes played. Kentucky's largest lead was 14 in the first half.
And Goliak's got to help out on Mercer.
Padgett missed the long one, got his own rebound, then he ran into Mercer. They both went down. Turner hits the runner.
Well, he does a great job in that lane.
Been an entirely different player since moving back into the starting lineup in the FCC tournament. Double figures in 5 of the last 6 for Wayne Turner. Goliak strong inside, but his shot was blocked by Padgett. Turner.
What a give by Mercer, and they have Epps on the wing for the spread for the 3.
Double figures again now for Turner. He has 10 points in this one. Last touch by Caden. And Rick Majerus trying to earn the call. Say Mercer touched it, but the call didn't go his way.
Inside defense reaction and the turn the other way, Sean. This is the numbers game. Hit it the middle. You got the weak side with Epps covered, or the finish by Turner.
I do not drive to work. I do not drive to get from point A to point B. I do not drive to run away from the world. I just love to drive.
The new 1997 Monte Carlo. Personal space. From genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
Guess that answers that question.
I'm a soft-spoken kind of guy. There's nothing more important to me than a quiet chat with my son, Shaquille. I just marched to the phone and dialed 1-800-COLLECT. The money I saved him, he can use to buy some new backboards. Take it through the hole, Shaquille.
He's gonna slam!
And they wonder where he gets it from.
1-800-COLLECT. Save the people you call up to 44%.
You're born, you go to school, and then one day, things begin to get interesting. Now, instead of preparing, you're doing. The stakes are a lot higher than they were in high school. Because out here, the tests you're given are of your honor, your courage, and your commitment. This is your journey. It's time you got underway. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
We're talking hang time. The world's best ski jumpers are flying high at the World Nordic Ski Championships. It's 120 meters of madness. Tomorrow on CBS.
Mike Mayock back in San Jose, and I just had an opportunity at halftime to talk to Rick Majerus, and the point he made was the same thing our Bill Rafferty has been talking about, which is the big guys, especially the center, have got to do a better job running at Mercer as he comes off the picks. As a matter of fact, the last thing he said is, I don't care if anybody beats us in the second half, but it better not be Ron Mercer. And Sean, so far, after 4 minutes, Mercer is scoreless.
And has not taken a shot here in the second half, but Kentucky has widened its lead by a point. And the margin of 10 at halftime. Paget missed a three well off. Wayne Turner scored all 6 Kentucky points here in the second half. Nice move by Van Horn under the bucket.
Sean, he's terrific at reading the floor, anticipating the fast break. Nice gamble look by Utah.
Van Horn has 9. The deficit facing Utah is 9. Horner scored in double figures in 80 straight games, trying to make it 81 today. Hansen got away with a walk after that deflected pass wound up in his lap.
And Metal with a nice hand hedge caused the turnover.
Well, the Utes hang around within striking distance, down by 9. Trying to get Van Horn the ball, and he has it, working on Paget. There comes the double. Miller, the bounce to the bucket. Tough shot. Bodies fly. He collided with Turner, and Andre Miller is 6.
And he had a nice option, too, as Van Horn drifted to the corner, getting into the middle. Devastating. I think South Carolina played Kentucky extremely well because of the dribble of penetration of their 3 guards. We mentioned the other night the ability of Larry Bird to anticipate a fast break in his heyday. Van Horn, extraordinary at that. But the hand hedge here, Mike Mayock just talked about not letting Mercer beat them. He pops out, the hand hedge causes the turnover, and referee Sean McDonough come up with the walk, but the penetration into the lane, the little kid's rewarded by Andre. He's got some toughness.
The Van Horn family on the left of your screen, standing and applauding Keith Van Horn's wife, Amy, expecting their second child in mid-June. They have a 2-year-old daughter, Sabrina. On the right of your picture was Keith's mother, May, whose dad passed away a couple of years ago. Paget, and it struck the shot clock on the top of the backboard, so Utah gets it back, narrowing the gap on Pitino's Wildcats. Utah down 7.
And Rick wants a little energy now, going full court. They're not playing the man, passing it in, fronting everybody else. Got to screen and make good cuts.
Medola has it back from Caton. Caton looking for help. They need to hurry to get it over. Medola just did get it over with a second to spare.
And McGlure with the matchup now with Van Horn. He should take him away from the goal.
Medola trying to get it into Van Horn, and McGlure was holding him.
Nice.
And that's the second foul on Jamal McGlure, the freshman from Toronto.
And Metal is a nice passer, Sean. Here's the physical play down on the box. The ability to spin and cover. I think he can do some damage getting out of that area. But Medola, who's had a little cultural shock of his own, going from reindeer meat to pizza with Rick, with a nice little entry pass.
Miller, tough shot, fading away, and he made it. And with 14 minutes left, Utah has narrowed the gap to 5. Andre Miller has 8 points.
That's his game. He's tough in the low post, and guards aren't used to defending in that area.
Mercer whipped it underneath to Turner. They've done a good job defensively on Mills today, have the Utes.
They know he's got to put it on the floor to beat him.
Miller got a hand on the ball just when it looked like Turner was about to go by him. Muhammad on Metalov. Tough shot, wouldn't go. Rebound Hansen. Utes on a 6-0 run, looking to build on it.
Van Horn now has Mills. They should go right to the box quickly. See if he can make a quick move.
Metala, tough shot. Not the shot they wanted, although Metala can make that. They had time to look for a better one, particularly with the mismatch Bill mentioned. And a great feed. Muhammad fouled on the way up by Drew Hansen.
Well, Muhammad usually takes care of his disciples. This time, Turner takes care of Muhammad. We've seen him go left quite a bit. Draw, suck the D, and the nice-looking dish, the foul from the rear. But Turner, as you noted, a different team within that point mentality for Rick Pitino out there.
Van Horn takes a seat. Jackson's back in the ball game. 3 fouls now on Hansen. He's gone out, replaced by Jeff Johnson. 3 freshmen in the game again for Utah. Muhammad doesn't get the roll, but everything but go in.
They both had a chance to talk to Rick Majerus. He said the difficulty in playing Kentucky is to simulate their speed and coverage.
In practice?
Yeah, it's just a different look. I mean, these big guys are very mobile, something yours generally aren't.
6-point game as Muhammad made 1 out of 2. Not many scoring options on the court now for Utah with Van Horn on the bench. Goliak, the leading scorer, who's still in the game.
The Metal is very tough on the box if they use him. There you go. He's got good. Then he come big.
Excellent ball movement. Miller an open 3. Missed it out of the corner. Mills the rebound. And the save for Muhammad. Mills guarded by Jackson, and an offensive foul called on Prickett as he was jockeying for position with Goliak, or rather Metalov, and it's the 3rd foul on Prickett.
They don't let you swim, they don't let you duck in and clear the guy out. You can see just the lift of the shoulder, and Metal with a little toughness held his ground.
An up and down ride at Kentucky for Prickett as a freshman in '93. He was a key part of their Final Four team, but in recent years he's become more and more of a bit player. Last year sat out the whole year, had a spat with Rick Pitino at the start of the NCAA tournament, didn't travel the first couple of sites. He made up with Rick Pitino prior to the Meadowlands and was there when the team won it.
Not the right guy to pick a fight with, I would think, huh?
As Jared said, Rick is always right, a lesson he learned. Turner intercepts the pass.
Rick Majerus said that we don't play any zone. He was tempted to think about it against this Kentucky team, but they played great man-to-man.
Rick Pitino has gotten an extended rest from Mercer, one that he needed. He's played a lot of minutes in this tournament. He's getting ready to check back in.
Good reaction defensively by Goliak.
Shot clock at 5. Muhammad trying to set a screen. Turner must shoot with Miller right in his face. Picked up, but no good by Muhammad. Muhammad again along the baseline. Didn't get the bounce. Bodies flying, and the officials letting them play underneath.
I like that little toughness and activity.
So Utah's hanging around, down by 6. Approaching 11 minutes remaining. The Ute fans, many of them on their feet. Tough pass, Goliak. Had it deflected out of bounds by Muhammad and Mills. And a timeout. Ron Mercer will check back in after the timeout. Still has not attempted a shot here in the second half. 11 minutes remaining. Kentucky by 6.
I remember when I was little watching the first satellites go over. I wanted to be a part of it. But what's about to happen in space seems even more amazing. To put a space station into orbit, astronauts from 13 different countries living there up to 10 years, that's a pretty great achievement. I'm John Donor, and I work at Mobil. I developed a grease that will lubricate the International Space Station's air system. We might take breathing for granted down here on Earth, but it's very important for them. I feel very proud for Mobil that we are a part of that.
Wendy's delicious 5-piece chicken nuggets are impossible to resist.
I only got 4 nuggets. I only got 3. Mom, where's the rest of our nuggets? Hey! Mom.
Now Wendy's 5-piece chicken nuggets are just 99 cents every day.
Had a real tough early season there. So I've got a couple of ideas here that are going to be a little unique. Each one of you guys has got a battery inside.
Coach, are these girl shoes?
You know, whatever works. And you think, man, I can't go on. But, hey, he keeps going, doesn't he?
I heard about this car that's supposed to be safe for you and your kids, but it's so expensive you probably couldn't afford to have kids and that car at the same time. How about a Chevrolet Cavalier? It comes with a safety cage, dual airbags, even standard anti-lock brakes. So for around $12,000, you really can get everything you want in a safe car, including kids. Who decided that only people who can afford expensive cars should be safe? Get the car that's easy to own, a Cavalier. Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Philips Magnavox Web TV, Wendy's Crispy Chicken Nuggets, E-Trade, and by Cellular One.
Relive March Madness. Experience all of this year's action with the official 1997 NCAA Championship video. Call now, 1-800-747-7999. From the excitement of the opening rounds to the drama of the Final Four. That's 1-800-747-7999.
Congratulations to the Minnesota Golden Gophers. They're on the road to their first Final Four, and they're the first team from their conference in the Final Four since Michigan in 1993. And the Providence College Friars continue their run. The number 10 seed in the Elite Eight. First time a seed of that ilk has been in the Elite Eight since 1987 when LSU was there as a number 10 seed as well.
And Mercer back in with the 20 minutes in the first half. And what did you say, 39 to be shot? That's a good look.
Huge shot by Miller, a step back three. He has 11, and all of a sudden the Utes are within 3 points.
While Mercer's out there, you got to use him. Nice look to Paget. Collapse.
And Paget to finish, the sophomore from Louisville with 6 points. And they just did get it into Caton. Numbers in their favor. Doliak. He hits the baseline jumper. Van Horn is back in the game as well. Kentucky had gone more than 5.5 minutes without a field goal before the bucket by Paget. They had missed 6 straight from the floor. Mercer had it deflected by Caton. Free ball controlled by Miller. Three-pointer would tie it for Utah now. We're midway through the second half.
Well, they have selected properly, huh? Challenging the pressure on occasion and running their half-court stuff.
And a kick ball, so they'll reset the shot clock to 35. It was at 19. Utah at 55% here in the second half, while Kentucky is at 31% since the break.
Fatigue, too, I think. All of a sudden, the defense may not be as tough in the half court.
Only 9 players dressed. Only 8 of them on scholarship. Hanson ties the game with a 3.
And too simple. That was just a screen away, pop to the top. Very soft defensively right now. Pitino wants to straighten it out.
It is a full timeout for Kentucky. The three-pointer by Hanson, who doesn't score much, gets Utah even.
Tiger Woods takes on Augusta National. The Masters on CBS.
It's the only one out there.
And here it comes. The only compact pickup to offer a third door. Okay, folks, show's over. Chevy S10, like a rock.
Bob, Joe Gaddy. I want you to know where we are in this deal. Oh, Leo, Joe Gaddy.
Across America, more people use Cellular One than any other cellular service.
Yep.
Okay, Dad, you can use the phone now.
Oh, okay. Thanks, honey.
Good morning, starshine. The earth says hello. You twinkle above us, twinkle below.
Lousy shoes.
E-Trade gives you what you need to turn a hunch into an investment.
Excess athletic shoes. Sell.
From $14.95 a trade. E-Trade. Get online.
Go where you wanna go. Find the road you've never taken.
Introducing the all-new Goodyear Wrangler ATS with dual traction lug channels that evacuate water for serious traction in the wet, especially in braking. The all-new Goodyear Wrangler ATS.
Serious freedom. Goodyear, Goodyear.
Andre Miller's mother, Andrea Robinson, hailed by Rick Majerus as a key part of her son's development. She really emphasizes academics. And Andre's done well in the classroom after being a non-qualifier as a freshman. Tie game. Utah trailed by 14 in the first half, having an early 7-point lead.
And they got Mercer moving just a little bit. Gets a good look here. Well, tough to control all game long, or all second half.
Ron Mercer with his first shot of the second half. In nearly 11 minutes in. And Kentucky leads again by 2.
They've done a nice job locking guys low on the block and then settling for a jumper if they don't get it inside.
All-Americans matched up with Mercer guarding Van Horn. Now it's Muhammad leading on Van Horn as he went to the other side. 5 on the shot clock. That three blocked by Muhammad. Turner. Cricket Epps on the court with Muhammad and Mercer for the Wildcats. Mercer for 3. Rebound Epps.
And Van Horn felt he should have squeezed that one.
Mercer in traffic, doesn't matter, with Doliak at nearly 7 feet, jumping out at him. Mercer scores nonetheless. He scored 4 straight points to give Kentucky a 4-point lead.
And Ben Caton really hustled, didn't matter.
3 on 2. Caton off for Doliak. And he missed a short one. Got his own rebound and was fouled by Muhammad, or perhaps Turner. It's on Turner from behind, and the foul's Wayne's first.
How about the little screen down here, Sean? And now he knows with the little peek that he can knock it down. And Caton's sprinting. He may need a respirator when this is over. Doliak in the front, Caton on the out, and the ability to convert.
3 for 3 from the line today for Doliak, now 22 in a row. He's made 37 of his last 38. He had 6 points in overtime. 3 key players fouled out against Stanford on Thursday night. Doliak was a stabilizing force. Kentucky by 2. Under 8 minutes remaining. The lob for and he just did get his fingertips on it to tip in Turner's pass.
What a smart play, too. The press ensues.
Goliak, his pass deflected by Turner. And Peyton open, a little casual with the pass, and you can't do that against Kentucky.
A little spurt time right now. Got to be careful if you're Utah.
Prickett out for X. Three. He wants a 20 to Majerus, and there's no way they'll miss him because he's out at the three-point line, calling for the 22nd timeout.
The ability to pull a string. And Andrea a little heartsick as Kentucky's able to step it up just a little bit. Turner, eyes, everybody looking to help on Mercer. The head's down, and Prickett with a great read. And you just don't get out quick enough. And Epps keeps sticking that dagger in. And right away, the bench a little bit excited because the press and the impact continues for Kentucky.
7 unanswered points for Kentucky. Mercer started the run with 4 in a row, then the big 3 by Epps, who was a youth killer in Minneapolis last year. Hansen the push. Van Horn. Might have been tipped by Prickett, but it found its way into the bucket nonetheless. And Van Horn is finally in double figures now with 11 points. That's 81 straight games with double digits in scoring.
You almost get the feeling Rick may have implored him to get involved. Same play, nice look by Turner. Same result. Prickett to the 10.
For Van Horn. 6.5 minutes remaining. Epps to get the lead back to 10. Rebound tipped away from Mercer. And a great save by Miller. Now Epps down the lane. And a foul before the shot.
Everybody giving it all they can to win this one. The long rebound, something Kentucky's terrific at coming down with. Andre Miller, who's been sound all game, unfortunately threw it back into the Kentucky hands. Those lobs to Prickett, Sean, should be assists for Mercer as Andre's mom, chagrined, looking on, and she emotes during the course of a game. Look at the tapes, different situations. She dies. She qualifies for a coach's wife in that situation.
4 fouls now on Hansen. He fouled out of the game against Stanford, as did Peyton and Van Horn. Without their 3 veteran stalwarts, the Utes prevailed over the Cardinal in overtime. Padgett.
Nice help by Dolak. Now he's at a disadvantage. They should go to Mercer.
It's Van Horn guarding Mercer. Padgett trying to set a screen. And an errant pass came back to Prickett. Great job by Peyton. He's on the all-WAC defensive team. Prickett strong moving on the baseline. The shot was short, tipped out of bounds. Utah ball.
Good defense because Mercer's got great strength, able to take a hit, turn the corner.
Goliak struggling to get it in. Hansen over to our front court.
A shuffle cut screen down. Got to use the dribble a little more on these bigger guys, Sean. See, I think he can take over just a little bit.
Van Horn into Goliak. Out to Caton. Van Horn got Turner in the air. Turner poked it away and a foul call. And Rick Majerus wants it to be a shooting foul. And Art McDonald says no. It is, however, the 7th team foul. So it'll be a 1-on-1 opportunity for Van Horn, the best free throw shooter in the WAC this year.
Great ball movement, though. The inside-out look, and somehow I think Keith should have got one up quicker. Maybe a good snap chest pass initially. He was open.
Mills heads out of the ball game. First trip to the line today for Van Horn. He's made 28 straight free throws. They get 29. He's now over 90% for the season. 90.2 to lead the WAC.
And they're not a team that extends the floor either, Sean. They got to stay close to win this one. They're not a full court pressure philosophy like Rick Pitino's guys.
Well, while he was waiting outside the delivery room for Amy to give birth to their 2-year-old daughter Sabrina 2 years ago, Van Horn wrote a paper called Personal Resilience.
Marriage will do that to you.
Got an A on the paper.
Just for perseverance, huh? Dedicated, great story. 4 years and the maturation process.
We need more personal resilience today. Paget missed a 3. Caton the rebound. Here come the Utes again, down by 5. Miller looks very tired, as you might expect. Dealing with the pressure from Kentucky most of the afternoon. He played 39 minutes in the overtime game against Stanford.
That's right. He's dribbling with his left hand because his right hand is bothering him. The knuckles are sore. You can see him over his head. He continually bounced the ball with the left. A major concern coming in. He must have gotten a whack on the other end.
I mentioned it wasn't the wrist that bothered him after the collision in the basket support Thursday night as much as it is the inflamed knuckles, and that's been a chronic problem he's had throughout the year. He keeps landing on that hand. And now thrust into the spotlight is Jordy McTavish. And he'll have to be careful with Turner, who takes it away.
Good call, Sean. Oh, the pressure immediately. Rick Majerus wants to react the same out there.
McTavish is no longer in the game. We have the Jackson and Caton and Hansen to do the bulk of the ball handling.
And Utah's done a nice job shading towards Mercer's side.
Paget a huge 3. 10-point lead now for Kentucky. Paget has 9 points. He returned to action in December after missing a year and a half due to academics.
So they remind you of a great prize fighter. They know when to get after you, when you're hurting, when you're on the ropes. They just step it up.
Jackson missed a 3, rebounded by Prickett. It was Jackson who came into the game when Miller left. After McTavish was yanked, Kentucky on a 10-2 run. Mercer. Paget, the rebound as he went over top of Van Horn to get it. And he powered the goal and was fouled on the way up. And it's on Hansen. He's fouled out.
He may have been hit earlier too, Sean, as Hansen continued the onslaught, trying to get a piece of the ball. But the rebounding, the ability of Prickett, Paget, Nazi Mohammed, the floor when he's in there to body guys under a little bit, become bigger.
Hansen fouls out. The junior leaves with 6 points and 3 rebounds. He fouled out against Stanford as well on Thursday night.
The ability to offensive rebound, the understanding is so important as you get inside position when possible. You see Prickett right under the rim, but Paget able to body guys, get them a little bit closer, and you can see from the rear the little whack by Hansen.
Paget makes the first. Here's Mike Mayock.
Yeah.
Well, apparently we're having difficulty with Mike's mic.
See if they go right for it here, Sean. Get the press ready. I mean, they know it's that time of the game where they can tie it up. There's a different pressure point now.
The lead back to 12. Utah had pulled even at 43-43. Since then, they've been outscored 18-6. Whistle underneath. Too much jockeying on the part of Kentucky, and Van Horn will try Mike again.
Sean, what happened with Andre Miller? He obviously re-injured that right hand. He had trouble opening and closing it on the bench, and both team doctor, Dr. Petron, and trainer Gerald Fisher applied pressure to the back of the hand. It was very painful. The decision was made to take him into the locker room, numb the hand, and see if he can continue to play later this half.
Time is running out. 3:08 remaining. Van Horn makes the free throw.
And, Johnny, if you recall, Rick mentioned Sidney Moncrief as a guy that he coached in the NBA that played with that the knee and the bone rubbing against one another. The quality of life was his concern with Sidney. And he said the same thing if it is with Andre. He won't play him.
Here comes Miller back to the court. Remains to be seen if he'll re-enter the game. 3 minutes remaining. Kentucky in search of its 12th appearance in the Final Four, and a chance to defend its national championship. Could be under 3 minutes away now from the trip to Indianapolis. Mercer, that's a 2.
The activity set it up. They used the big guys just below the foul line in an extraordinary fashion.
Van Horn, it wouldn't go. And the rebound by Padgett, and Utah's really in trouble now. Down by 12 with 2.5 minutes left. Epps lost the handle, poked away by Johnson to Jackson. Jackson to bounce to the bucket. Too much bouncing. He traveled.
Too much hop, step, and jumping for Jackson. Thought he could jump, stop. Inopportune turnover.
Freshman from Portland called for a travel. He's another like Nazim Muhammad, who's had a serious change in body type. When David Jackson was in the 9th grade, he was a 250-pound center. Now he's 214, plays on the wing in college. Fouls on Jeff Johnson, his first. The Utes are not yet over the limit. That's 16 fouls.
And so Rick Majerus came out here thinking, let's take Mercer out. They did. They were early in the second half were solid, but other people stepped up, particularly Turner penetrating. Here's the giveaway by Van Horn.
And the right man to foul, Turner, who struggles from the line. Van Horn commits his first foul. Welcome home to America's Night of Television on CBS tonight. Don't miss Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Early Edition, and Walker, Texas Ranger. All tonight here on CBS. Turner 0 for 2 from the line today. This is a 1-and-1. Rattles out to Jackson. Kentucky by 12. 2:10 remaining. Johnson running the floor. Jackson hit him in the hands, but it was too hot to handle.
Quick hitters, what you're looking for, but you can't afford that kind of a mistake at the end. Now they go full court. This could open things up for Kentucky. They get Mills in.
And they get Turner out. They want to take the worst free throw shooter out of the ball game. Turner with 5 steals in this game. A career high, and none bigger than the ball he took away from McTavish when Utah had the ball down by 5. That steal and lay-in forced a timeout by Utah and seemed to burst their bubble a little bit.
How about Miller? I mean, just a critical juncture for Rick Majerus. His mainstay at the point position, and he's still holding on to those fingers on the sideline.
He's a junior. He'll be back for another year. And they're hoping with the new legislation being passed by the NCAA, he could be back for 2 more years. The props may be given the year back.
A nice little bounce back, Sean, huh? Particularly the turnover category. And it is not easy. The level of intensity of Kentucky's press, I don't think anybody else has it in the country. The numbers, the rotation, then half court, how they step up and in concert take away dribble penetration, and all without Anderson there on the sideline, huh?
I think the common denominator of the 3 teams that beat Kentucky during the regular season, they all have good, deep guard play. South Carolina beat them twice. Ole Miss and Clemson have good guards as well and can handle that pressure. Not enough depth at guard at times today for Utah. Miller did admirably. Ben Caton with the bucket and the quick foul. Rick Majerus is going to lengthen this game as much as he can. Force Kentucky to make a bunch of free throws in the final 2 minutes. Rick Pitino told us yesterday that it's possible, should his team advance to the Final Four, that Allen Edwards could play, despite the fact he has a stress fracture of his right ankle. Pitino said yesterday he was told by the doctor people run marathons on that type of an injury, and Edwards might be back. They could use the added depth.
They took the cast off, so he's walking around in street clothing, and they expect it next weekend if they were to win today, which they are in control right now. A nice addition back. Maybe the best conditioned team in the country. A lot of guys might get upset at that. They can go full tilt both ends of the floor.
Epps, key performance again this year against Utah. 12 points, 6 of 6 from the line. For Anthony Epps, playing in career game number 139 at Kentucky. Only Jared Prickett of 141 has appeared in more.
They both had a lot of time with Rick Majerus as they try and get the quick hitter on this end.
Jackson makes a three. Majerus wants a timeout. His team didn't see it. It's an 11-point game, 1:40 left. And a foul on Jackson as he hit Epps. 2 fouls on Jackson. And Utah now in the double bonus. That's 10 team fouls against the Utes. So Kentucky will shoot 2 the rest of the way.
And Rick Majerus with his guys. Last year, as you know, he felt there were some things he left Epps alone. He blamed himself for that. This year, the game plan I thought was terrific. Mercer had a great second half. They come back, or first half, comes back in the second half, take him out of the game. There's so many weapons for Kentucky that it's very, you can't keep putting the finger in the dike.
Epps still perfect from the free throw line. People keep talking, and these 2 coaches did yesterday, about how this Kentucky team is not as good as last year's. But you wonder how far off they can be. They're on the verge of their 34th victory against 4 defeats. It's a much different team. 8 players who were part of that championship last year are not in uniform for Kentucky today. Includes Edwards and Anderson. Doliak, a 3. And now they get the quick timeout. 13 points for Doliak. Still a minute and a half to go. The Utes back within 10. They need to score. They have to make sure they get a good one. And excellent defense by Kentucky, forcing the clock down, and Caden travels.
They do a wonderful job pressuring the 3-point shooter. Rick's always espoused the theory, 7 or 8 points below, you keep that team on 3-point shooting percentage. They're 37%, their opponent 31 during the course of the year.
By Kentucky, Padgett gets the assist. And 8 points for Prickett. He'll play at least one more game for the Wildcats. He rips down the rebound. 50 seconds remaining. 10 rebounds for Prickett today.
They're trying to keep away here, doing a nice job as the scramble occurs. Got to match up if you're going to give it. Don't go running around. There goes Van Horn.
Foul on very sore hand. Caused him to leave the game in the last 5 minutes. Ron Mercer, particularly strong in the first half when he had 15 of his 21 points. They are the Chevrolet MVP. The executive producer of CBS Sports is Rick Gentile. Keith Van Horn leads. There was standing ovation not only from the Utah fans. Epps with his first miss from the line. The coordinating producer of NCAA basketball is Bob Dinkus. Today's game produced by Bob Monsbach and directed by Larry Cavallina. The coordinating producer of the Road to the Final Four is Eric Mann. The Road to the Final Four was directed by Bob Matina. The associate director of today's game is Ken Mack. The broadcast associate is James Sample.
And our thanks to all those people to make it so much fun this week out here. How emotional is that? Caton and Van Horn going out, showing marvelous careers, I should say. WAC championships.
Van Horn, 3-time Conference Player of the Year, elected to come back for his senior season. It'll come up just short of the Final Four, but they did move past the previous hurdle, which had been the Sweet 16.
Well, the Cats are back, huh?
Maybe not as good as last year, but you have to like their chances of defending their title as much as any other team that will be heading to the Final Four. An impressive victory over Utah. The Ute season ends at 29-4. With it, a 14-game winning streak ends, while Kentucky goes to 34-4. 7 straight wins for Kentucky this season, 10 straight in the NCAA tournament, dating back to last year's run, and they will head to their 12th Final Four, their 3rd in the 90s, and they'll meet Minnesota next Saturday in Indianapolis. The rest of the field will be decided tomorrow. Once again, the final score, Kentucky 72, Utah 59. We'll join Pat